Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Cathy Bliss, and I'm a stress reduction specialist. Today we have Janet Heilman, our miracle client, and she's going to get a view of biofeedback. So we'll be able to see the stress that's underlying any disease that she might have. Y'all might have heard that stress underlies disease. Dr. Selye said that years ago. What do you do with that? Is the stress emotional or mental, physical, environmental? Well, that's where this device can really help, is you're going to see some of the things that come up that are stressing her system, and then we can send programs that give the right frequency to correct it. And then sometimes I'll say, would you be willing to not have this and take this? And I only usually give you homework of two things. One could we not do, and one can we do? Because that changes the trajectory. The next week we'll change it a little bit more. While we're calibrating to Janet, this is an NRG card. Looks like a credit card. You know how you use a credit card and magically all your bank info comes up? This will hold your frequencies. So when you wear this, it will help if you go on an airplane and there's so many people's energy and there's radiation and just gunk, right? This will help to hold your frequencies. So you wear it on you, or you can put it under a glass of water and it will make frequencies for you. So
it will protect you.
Exactly. And then each session you can bring it in, and we add, if we worked on the spinal program, or we worked on what happened when you were 2 years old, or the emotional program, this will hold those frequencies for you. So we will make you a card. All right, perfect calibration. So we're going to move right on. The test, okay, she's perfect. You just don't want to cross anything, so you're good. We're going to send 11,000 frequencies to the body.
Wow.
Yeah, seriously. While we send 11,000 frequencies, you don't feel anything.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So like when you're here and you get an x-ray and Des takes the x-ray, you don't feel anything, but then Dr. Lim can see where all of the spinal issues might be. This is the same. Some people feel tingles, most people don't feel anything. So there's no pain involved. And I don't give you too much homework, so there's no pain involved. So some of the things that I already know are coming up, such as voltage means your adrenals. So you have a battery pack, right? Your adrenals telling me they're good. So we like that. We're always looking for a pattern. Sometimes one thing could just be interesting. Somebody said something to you and so you're reactive to it, but it's not really, a big deal to work on. So we're looking for patterns, but the first thing we love to see is her voltage is great. Amperage is a little bit low. Amperage is brain power. How well are you able to think and cognize, which means stomach, right? Any of us been working in holistic health for a while know. So it's the stomach-brain connection. It's not really low, just a little low. Resistance, hydration, oxygen, all your beginning numbers are looking wonderful. I am a happy camper. Okie doke. 10 seconds more.
That's due to Dr. Mike.
Yes. So Janet's been seeing Dr. Lim for adjustments and Dr. Mike for
nutrition and well-being, all of that.
So Dr. Mike is a functional doctor.
Autoimmune disease, diabetes, blood pressure, all these things he's been helping me.
And she'll, as I ask her a few questions, she'll start telling you how she was when she came here and how amazing she is now. And the place that we're in right now is Synergy Integrated Health. And Synergy is great because both Dr. Lim and Dr. Mike understand. Dr. Lim's had maybe 15 sessions with me, and Dr. Mike's had a few. So when you do a session, we can take a screenshot and give it to the docs, and they know, oh, okay, I understand why that's coming up. So I love the synergy. All right, so now we're going to load what we just did. So we did 11,000 questions. It's like, do you like vitamin C? Do you like feathers? Do you like, and your body says, yeah. And then if your body says, no, I really don't like that, or yes, anything that says stress, we don't necessarily know too much or too little. So certain things it's kind of obvious, you know, motor oil comes up, it's like the body doesn't need more of that. But if it's a vitamin or certain things, then we ask questions and we figure out, do you need more or less? So we're just seeing stress. We're a lie detector, a very advanced lie detector. So one of the top things that comes up for you is a flower essence to help with mental cleaning, mental cleansing. So I'm just gonna send that, come on in. I'm just gonna send that frequency, which does two things. It lets your subconscious know, wow, when I ask for something, when I react, I get it back. And we will now put that on the card because you liked that frequency. So we can look at mental, emotional, physical. For today, we're just going to go to a couple different screens so you can get an idea. The matrix, that screen that I'm on, has 11,000 items. That's hard to do in a demo. So I'm going to show you some screens that are easier.
So the colors and the numbers, what is that?
So if you see at the bottom little part is red. So that means 3 away from the norm. Usually means in the last 3 days. So there's been some stress that's come up that the body likes within 3 days. It's more active right now. Then there's purple, that's 2 away from the norm. And I'll just scroll up just for a minute so you can see. Blue would mean not really reactive. If somebody has chronic issues, we are actually looking at the bottom end because that's chronic. Mainly we're looking at what's acute because I have an analogy of a camel. Okay, so you have the straw that broke the camel's back, right? So current medicine, we're looking at that straw, right? You know, we're gonna make an antibiotic, come on in, of that straw. But in actuality, functional medicine, like you have with Dr. Mike, so that camel's gone splat. You have all of us functional docs going, could I take a handful here and a handful? So we're taking straw off of the camel, which is what we're doing here is we're just taking stressors. It might not be the main stress, but we're taking handfuls, and then all of a sudden the camel goes and he stands up. So he might still have some straw on him, but he's now functional. He's standing up, right? So he's gone from entropy into synergy, from illness into health. So that's, okay, so it's telling me you only rectified to a 9. So before we go on, just because she loves it, we'll send her 30 seconds. You loved that flower essence. If the body rectifies, means understands the frequency and responds back, then good to go. If I send a frequency in one of your sessions and it doesn't rectify after 3 times, likely you would do well actually ingesting the actual substance. So that's when we might say, you know, can we look at the vitamin Bs you're taking? Or sometimes even with flower essences, go to Jimbo's and pick one up. Okay, see, now you're a happy camper, so that's good. All right. So we are going to open up the body viewer because, so I can run 4 programs at once. This is a secondary program. What I like about the body viewer is it runs in real time. So Janet's unconscious. So first it's again syncing with you. So now, and you can watch it here while they watch it there. This is her actually running this as we speak. So it's wanting to work on the lungs, the heart, and probably hard to tell all the way at the top. It's telling me that there's a fungus issue. Are you on a Candida diet? Are you not eating sugar? And
Yes.
so part of that is you ask questions. I already happen to know why that's coming up. So I don't need to worry about the diet because she's already handled, Dr. Mike is handling it, but that's why fungus is having a stress response right now. White blood cells, so that means her immune system is happy.
That's a miracle because
Yeah.
no, that's a miracle because I've always had very low white, and also I have autoimmune disease, which the body attacks
Yeah.
the bloodstream and stomach and all that. So for that to come out,
So sometimes you're like, wow, thank you very much.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, because it can come up saying that it's inflamed or there's a problem. But here it's saying white blood cells. Tell me which organ system you want worked on right now.
why don't we go to liver?
Okay, so we're going to go to the digestive system
Yes.
and do liver. Okay, so what's nice is it's scanning and repairing the liver, and it's not coming up with, it can show really unhealthy liver and sclerosis. Yours came up, I'm just working on it, I'm doing okay. So that gives you the frequency to work with what all you guys are doing. While that's going, we'll do a short acupuncture. Okay, so when we do these big events at, if we go to a convention center, we're doing an event and there's 50 other booths and you want people to come over, we usually put this one up. Because it's an accurate acupuncture screen, but it's also naked humans.
So it's fun.
Yeah, it is. It's just kind of fun to see. So yeah, just a funny thing from when we did big events. We might go back to doing big events. And so what this is doing is scanning the acupuncture system. We can do chiropractic acupuncture, and now it's switched. It's doing lung. So you're seeing it's going to go through the different. So like with lung, it's telling me oxygen transfer, it's working, there's some issues, and we saw lungs come up, so it's working on it. And depending on how long it stays, so it's already switched to large intestine. So just know that this is going on in the background.
And what is it doing? It's just
Sending frequencies up and down that meridian, and if it finds a resistance, so in acupuncture, we usually say resistance. If it finds resistance, I'll be able to tell because it will tell me up here and it will keep running it. So, all right. And while that's running, we're going to go back over here. You want to see your emotions?
oh brother.
I love that. We love getting that reaction. Almost always they're like, yeah, cool. Yeah. It's just so interesting because where else does anyone be able to show you which emotions are stressing you? Okay, y'all see that? Cool, it looks better up there. Okay. So what you're looking at is mainly she's balanced. You see how most of the ups and downs are balanced. So then what we're looking at is what comes up highest and what comes up lowest. Highest is acute on this screen, is acute. Lowest is chronic, which could be just a couple weeks. It could be a childhood issue. They almost always relate to each other. So Janet, looking at this, aggression, okay, so most of you will have heard that she just asked to check her liver. anger and aggression can come from liver issues. So you don't need to know that, just it reminds me. Have you noticed currently, is there something in the last few days where you're like, wow, I'm feeling a bit aggressive?
Depending on my triggers, I think my triggers have lessened throughout the week.
They have. See how even you are. You know, you're
And I
not
can't
all
believe
over.
that.
Yeah, you are. You are good.
Oh, honey.
And what you look at then is what's on the bottom. Yeah, I should be asking you in the back there. Yeah. Yeah. Shock. So chronic is shock. That could be all the way back to a childhood issue, but that could be, 4 months ago before you came in here, you were in not great shape.
4 months ago, I was literally dying, giving up, not having hope.
Keep talking, I'm running a session.
With my health, my emotions, the disease. I had a stroke 4 years ago, and autoimmune, and trying to fight that on my own. And it got to a point where I couldn't no more and didn't want to anymore. So when I got injured, all of that came out, and then I didn't have any energy whatsoever. So when I came here, I barely walked. I couldn't walk, had very low energy.
And now your voltage is happy, which we like. So what we're doing is we're sending frequencies to balance what was the most acute and the most chronic. And then what we look at, y'all can see it on the top, it will say rectified to 74. So we would normally run that again, plus everything is so balanced. So what's so cool is you put this on your fridge and you're like, sometimes in the morning you just have to know.
So this is between 3 to 4 days, three to 4 days, or?
Well, right now you are, look how balanced you are, and it's on your card. So this is excellent. And yeah, go ahead and take a snapshot. So when I first saw this, it was demonstrated to me by a French doctor, Dr. Drouin, with a, oh my God, French accent. So you're looking at this great equipment with a guy, and you could hardly understand him. He was a doctor from French Canada, and he's showing this, and I'm thinking Star Trek. I'm like, oh my God, this is the tricorder, right? This is, I can get this, I can do this. And this was one of the things that intrigued me because, in other forms of biofeedback, we can look at bones but emotions, right? And how they relate to the system. So yeah, that got me. We can look at the neurotransmitters. So those of you that have seen Dr. Lim, all of his talks are about the nervous system. And then Dr. Mike will translate some of that into the neurotransmitters. So this is the brain. So what we're doing is sending just 10 seconds of the neurotransmitters that you particularly like, because also that will go on your card. And I'll sort them so you'll be able to see. I didn't sort it for you first, so you can see which ones. There we go. Stress, blood pressure. How is blood pressure now?
My blood pressure is normal.
So this is a peptide and hormone that will help to keep it that way. Energy control, blood pressure. So you're doing great. Happiness hormone, serotonin. We like happiness hormone. So some serotonin for you, and then pain regulation. How's that toe doing? You had an accident.
It's getting better.
Pain. So You can usually tell from what comes up there.
So I'm a happy person.
You are.
I'm a happy person.
Okay. So one of the things I'll show you is a chart. Okay. So this can show you the whole body. So we saw 11,000 things, and in a session we might just be working on one or two, but here so you can kind of get an overview. The biggest chunk of where the stress, what's going on is trauma. Does that make sense? Yeah, and that can be both physical and emotional, but trauma. So we would work on, in sessions we would do more allopathic. So are you or were you taking a whole lot of medications? Yeah, so we won't go into that right now. Over intellectualization. We got a story going. Do you intellectualize? Get some mental.
My brain tells stories all the time. All
Yeah.
the time I'm thinking.
That'd be over here, over intellectual.
All the time.
Next one, perverse energy, and we can go to that panel. That's cell phones and computers and everything else. If someone's just come off of an airplane, it's going to be high. I'm going to see radiation and perverse energy. When I see that, one of the things I want to know is, do you have a cell phone in your bedroom?
Sometimes.
So
not all the time, but most of the time.
there's no reason to have a cell phone.
Alarm clock.
No, that you put it in the kitchen,
Yeah.
then you have to get your butt up in the morning to go turn it off. There's no snooze, you get up and turn it off.
I have to have it really loud. I'm a heavy sleeper. I have to have
Yeah.
it really loud and not right next to me, but like on my dresser, and it does make me get up. And I don't have a problem getting up.
Get it as far away as you can. It only puts out negative energy so far, but perverse energy. Dr. Klinghardt, one of the docs I totally love, he's an amazing German doctor, and all the people come to him for all the supplements and medications because he knows so much. But if you listen to Dr. Klinghardt, he'll say 85% of the problem is outside of the skin. Everyone comes to me and pays attention to what's inside the skin. So you do, little things like keep the cell phone away from you, don't have the computers around you at night. You can turn your Wi-Fi off at night. You put it on a timer so it goes off at 10 p.m. and goes on at 6 or whatever your routine is, okay? So perverse energy, that's an easy fix. We don't need to really work on that. So that gives you an idea. Here's just another way. So there's liver. So liver is talking to us, and hydration. So we would be having a talk on sipping water. Just all day long, not drinking lots. That just flushes, that's good if you're detoxing. But sipping water is good. So I'm just running through so you can kind of get an idea. Aggravation. So one of the things that's aggravating your body is excess of nutrients. That can be, she's on a fantastic program with a naturopath, and her body's just adjusting.
Trying to regulate.
Yeah. So if I didn't know that she was seeing a functional doc, we'd be asking a lot of questions here. But since I know that the program she's on is amazing and she's getting better and better, it just, gets my attention. The second one is stress. So we know that she's running a program, and sometimes it's still your mom or your dad, right? You're grown up and you're still running, I'm not good enough, or someone's watching me, or...
Yeah, that's the whole thing, Even though my surroundings, I don't feel stressful. I don't, I'm okay, and I set my schedule, but internally and mentally, so I'm learning to relax more, take deep breaths, yeah, and all of that.
So one of the programs, if you decide to work with me, we do 6 sessions. Then you come whenever, and you need to tune up and on your birthday and before and after a trip. But then we can go to what went on when you were a child, because so many of us are running silly programs, and we don't undo the memory, but we take the stress away. So you might all of a sudden, okay, they're watching me, or what are they thinking, or I'm not good enough, as just an example. And then all of a sudden, now after we run a couple of those programs, like, that was from a long time ago. I don't care. I'm in charge. So we always replace it. If we take something out, we'll replace it with an affirmation. So I always like to do 1 or 2 sessions first to where the body's saying, I like this, and I'm feeding back that frequency. Because then the subconscious is saying, okay, I get that. I asked for this, and I got it back. So that when we go into, what happened when you were 2, you don't go into a stress response. So we can work on that with you.
So what is that stress?
Reduction.
Just now, what did you say, stress?
Well, stress is one of your highest reactors as aggravating the system. And usually that's going to be a mental emotion for you. For some people, it might be something else, but I'm thinking for you, and we can work on that. So we will look at the spinal program, because we know that that's one thing we've been working on. So in the device that I'm working, we're doing energetics and the electrical body. One of the practitioners says I'm an electrician. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I work the electrical body. I'm an electrician. It's very hard to explain 11,000 frequencies, so he's an electrician. So what we do here is we're asking for the stress of the muscles, the stress in the spine, the stress in the nerves. And like I said, what's so cool is Dr. Lim understands this. So when we send him, we can take a screenshot. It almost always he knows. He's like, well, I'm already working on that. But then every once in a while, it's something he might not have known or seen, and he loves it. In fact, I was working on his wife, and one of the acupuncture meridians came up. And that's really not either of our specialties, but I told him what it was, and he said, oh, that makes so much sense. And he went on, totally got it, and knew how to work with that. What I do if we do an acupuncture is I'll usually give you a picture of just a point, so you can just rub it or send acupressure, or see an acupuncturist. Okay, so here we're going to take a look. And you'll notice at the bottom of the screen, probably can't read it, proper chiropractic adjustment is always suggested, yoga, stretching. So that's why we work so well as synergy, because I'm working on the softer part, and then Dr. Lim can still adjust. So the main stress it's showing right now is can you see right there on the screen? So
Lower.
yeah, lower back is having a bit of an owie, and if it already says corrected, it means just from doing the test, enough frequencies went in there that it's released whatever stress was there. If it says degeneration or nerves, inflammation, that's where we can show that to Dr. Lim. It's kind of like an EMG, electromuscles. There's a way to test the muscles, so this is similar. We can help to send frequencies, but for right now, I just wanted to show you the type of thing that we would show to Dr. Lim. So there's a program. Normally we ask her body, what do you most want? But since we're doing a demo, we're going to do one that's good for everybody, because that's fun, right? So we're going to do the color program. I love this one. All right. So you all are going to watch that screen and you're going to watch this screen and just let your eyes enjoy all the different colors that come up. They all have a different frequency. So when you've seen the spectrum of light and we only see this little visible part of the light, and you know that infrared and so we have blues and reds and then we can't see anymore. They're still there. It's just the frequency. So by enjoying this, your body's getting all the good frequencies. It stimulates enzymes in the body. And then because we have you hooked up, the last color that comes up is going to be the color that is good for you to wear for the next couple days. So depending on what color comes up, it tells me something. And then if you have that shirt or you have, just a way to look at it, if not, a little scarf. Okay, so looks like violet. So look like violet up there, kind of violet gray. So in the purple violet color as well as gray. So we'll look at both of those.
These are my favorite colors.
Are those your favorite? And a lot of times it's just you already know what you resonate with.
Gray and
purple.
All the shades of purple.
Perfect. So you're going to wear that because that's your favorite colors anyway. The red can be genital, sacral, kidney, any of those organs. Gray is sedation, calmness. So lower chakras, organs, and calmness. And they're her favorite colors. How cool is that?
My house is gray.
Really? Do you feel more calm?
Oh, definitely.
Interesting.
Definitely. People that come to my house, they
Feel calm.
very peaceful, yeah.
And here's a little trick. I always like to give clients easy, free things that work. So you're walking into a test or you're stressed or whatever just happened and you're in a fight or flight mode. This is going to take 1 minute and it's free. At least right now, they haven't started taxing breathing yet. Might need to take that out. No, it's okay. So we're going to breathe in to the count of 4 and out to the count of 7. We're going to do it 3 times. We're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, out slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In for 4. 2, 3, 4, out for 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In. 1, 2, 3, 4, out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tune in for a minute. Where's your body at? Are you relaxed? Are you more relaxed than you were a minute ago? How do you feel? Remember that. Put that in your toolbox. So, if there's a car accident and you're all stressed, that will hurt the body. Also, it's hard to remember where to get the insurance. Just take 1 minute and breathe in and out slowly. So that's all you have to remember is you breathe out slower than you breathe in. So a lot of the things I give you are really easy. Sometimes they might be harder. So one thing that's a lot of fun to do is ask the client what's going on and just let her subconscious pick what it wants to work on. Cool. Tell me 3 things. It can be mental, emotional, physical. Tell me 3 things.
3 things as
Going on for you right now that would be nice to have balanced. How's your toe doing? You had an injury.
Yeah.
Is it still painful?
Yeah.
Toe. Okay. I'll say toe injury. You can all see me typing it. Okay. Next.
Diet, food.
Okay.
Still working on that.
Diet. And one more.
To be more happy with self.
Happiness with self. So you see I typed that in, and then we're doing a super conscious link. We're asking those frequencies, what does the body want to tell us? Sometimes that makes a lot of sense. Sometimes don't even understand it, but we answer back. So like I said, later on, if we're working on early childhood issues or something deep, the body understands it's safe to talk with us. So it's working on that right now. So heredity, and normally when I do a session, the first half hour is just intake. I do a very long half-hour intake, so I already would have known mom and dad and past and like that. Mm-hmm. Is there some issues in your heredity? And we don't have to go into it, just heredity is one of them. And we will send frequencies while we're talking. Okay, so right now we're saying thank you for letting me know, and we're sending the frequencies. Synthetic chemicals. So that can be, some of us are really sensitive to if you get behind a truck and it's got all those bad smells. So it can be if you just painted the house and there's VOCs, you put in a carpet. So some synthetic chemicals are a stress for you right now. Pituitary.
There it is.
Oh, tell me about pituitary.
Well, pituitary is when I was a teenager. It was not working, and so all this time I became
hypothyroid.
And that is the main issue. It has affected all my organs. So
excellent. So that was one of the primaries, and it's showing to me having to do with heredity. So it's likely in your line. You know, that's hard because they might not have had tests back then to test pituitary glands, but you might know that there was a cancer or a thyroid issue. Mm-hmm. But
with my family, it's fatty liver and basically fatty liver and pancreatitis and cirrhosis of the liver.
Okay.
Because there are many stages. I have 3 generations that have passed away.
Wow, okay.
The same, so the diabetes, and starts with the liver and then it works itself. Yeah.
Which is why it's so amazing that she's working with Dr. Mike, because he does the blood tests and the urine tests. And so he's looking at that level, and then we can give him a snapshot of this. It's like, pituitary is talking to us, and we balanced it. So over here, there's a lot of little blue things. So she's already rectified. She took what I gave her. If she didn't, I was going to send it again. But what that's saying is her body can take in the information that we gave it. So it already has on the card and in you, okay, well, this is what a happy pituitary. So it's like you have an orchestra, and each cell or organ plays its instrument. And her pituitary was a little out of whack, just not playing the right sound. So we sent back a SAR code. We sent back the right frequency, and her body went, okay, yeah, I got it. Right?
And I'm glad that's why I come here, because all 3 generations died prematurely.
But not you. You're going to be kicking butt.
Because we have this and we have so many things.
Because we can find it out, and then depending on what the other doctors are working on, if it's something that's more on the emotional side or something energetic, then I can add to that for you. Synthetic chemicals twice, girlfriend. Okay, so why are we reacting to synthetic chemicals? You got something you're aware of?
No.
Okay, so put your thinking cap on when you get home. Is it, it can be dryer sheets, it can be, you know, carpet, it can be paint, it can be if you have an issue when you're driving. So just pay
I know
attention.
I'm sensitive to like the fan
Okay.
and things like that, or if I'm in a cold area and I start sneezing. and
Okay.
stuff. I know that.
So we would look at that. We can actually help to detox that, because that's something that's hard for Dr. Mike to do, not so hard. So we could do that in a session. I'm just noticing that I'm seeing it twice. Remember me saying if I see a pattern, it's definitely going to get my attention more, and that's a stress. Lemon. So you either like lemon or you don't like lemon. We got to ask questions. We don't know. Allergy or sensitivity, there can be an acid imbalance, or it can be an emotional remedy for a lost love, and it can be a good food. So then we ask, how do you do with lemon? You like lemon?
I like lemon.
Okay. So then it would be try lemon. I do lemon water first thing in the morning. Do you do that? Lemon and water? Lemon water and stevia first thing in the morning. It's wonderful. Yeah. So that might be something that's good for you. So that would be, she's already doing it. Wonderful. All right. So that tells you. Okie doke. Are there any questions? Is there something someone wants to see? Janet's hooked up, but somebody wants to see any particular thing, or you don't really know?
Don't really know.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, you have to see all the different things that we can do. So let me show you, one of the places I always go is the risk profile. 11,000 items, right? If we were really going to do that, we'd be here 8 hours, which, trust me, all the practitioners have done that. Normally in an hour and a half session, you can't see 11,000 things. So this risk profile takes all of those and puts it into 37 or 39 different subject areas. And again, if you look for you guys at the bottom of the screen, what's the most acute is sugar regulation. And we know that she's working on diabetes. We know that in the body viewer fungus had come up. So her body's working that. Trauma, we'd seen that before. So all I'm doing, you're seeing, is me click on it, and then at the top of the screen, it's understanding that that's what I'm doing. Respiratory and stress. And then we go to the chronic, and we grab hormonal and sensory, and we send those frequencies back to you. So what's cool is we've learned some overall things that are going on. Then we can do, they call it the virtual doctor. We can pick one of those and ask for more specifics. So I had a client who called me, and she said, she's a dancer, a beautiful dancer. She said, I have chronic fatigue and I have earaches. And when we post this, I'll put up a picture of her. So she couldn't dance, she was miserable. So we did a session, and it was in the virtual doctor that feathers came up. I almost was scared to bring up feathers. I'm thinking it's Epstein-Barr, right? I have a lot of knowledge, so I'm going with the brain. I'm like, no, I'm a stress reduction specialist. I have this cold tool. So I said, Tara, do you happen to have a feather pillow? Yeah, I do, and a down comforter. Would you be willing to switch those out? Do you have a hypoallergenic or something in the other room? Yeah. So she was willing to get rid of the feathers for a while. Didn't hear from her for over a year. Then I get this most gorgeous picture of her doing a back bend with all these colors of the sunset. And she sends me this great, I've been feeling fantastic, haven't had an earache, no chronic fatigue, I'm dancing away, just thought I should let you know. I'm like, thank you. Especially because, you know, out of 11,000 things, feathers has come up.
All just because of the feathers.
Feathers. Yeah.
But it might not do that for someone else.
No, for her that was
Wow.
for her that was a stress, and I'll show you where.
Sometimes it's like the simplest things, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, because you have so many things that could be a stress, but like I was saying, think of that camel. If we can just take away some of the stress, we might not have even gotten to the core issue yet, but if you're feeling less stressed, you're feeling better. So for her, that was a major stress. And she's sleeping, you got 8 hours on that, and her couch was all feathers. She redid the whole couch pillows, so got rid of the whole feather thing. But I'm just so glad she called me, because you don't hear from a client for a while. You're like, I don't know, they moved, whatever. But to find out she's fantastic, and it was the feathers. I think I had. Would you be willing to take a fatty acid? I mean, it was undo one thing and add, but it was the feathers. It's like, wow. So then we ask the body, and what we'll do is we'll just send frequencies to all of them. But this would be where some of the things, like for you, I have an oriental herb, and some of the things that come up, I don't even know. I mean, it's so, but I can send the frequency. Dragon bone, oriental herb for elderly, emotional issues, including fear of aging and fear of the future. I could pretty much tell you any of us getting older would
Yeah.
relate to that, right? And it came up twice. I mean, it could have picked anything. That came up twice.
Just that alone makes you think.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So one of your fears, one of the fear of future, fear of aging. My parents had this, so we can actually undo that. We can, but right now, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And what I like is when I send back the frequencies, you are not blocked at all. You can see here the blue, and that's what I was telling you up there. She rectifies right away. So I could send it again, but she rectifies. So it's telling me a lot of other things. It could have to do with lymphatics and temporal lobe, but I just wanted to give you an idea. Sugar regulation, let's just check that, baby, because that's a biggie for you. And I can control my emotions positively.
I'm getting better.
I can control my emotions positively.
I'm getting there.
Okay, we're going to take a picture of that, and we're going to send that. Normally I would write that down. So one of the places we get affirmations is from this screen, and so much of the time they're perfect for the client. So when you wake up in the morning and there's some fear of aging, or whatever's gone, I can control my emotions positively. I can do that. Okay, so say that. I can control my emotions positively.
I can control my emotions positively. Yes, I can. If I can do this, I can do that.
There we go. So that's exactly it. And when you every day in every way, I'm getting better and better, right? So this, but for you today, that's your affirmation. And that had to do with sugar regulation. So the next time you're going, God, I wish I could just eat this or that. I am so bored with this diet. Right? I mean, it's for all emotions, but
Yeah.
it did come up from
Yeah.
sugar regulation. So allergy comes up. So we would, cat hair, you guys got cats? No? Are you allergic to cats? Been around cats? Not sure? No worries. It's showing as a stressor. We have one that stimulates lung and skin and digestion.
Yeah.
Mint. Do you like mint?
Yes.
Cool. So you get to have mint with xylitol or stevia, and I can control my emotions positively. Mint, peppermint oil is wonderful for digestion and all that.
Really?
Yeah, peppermint oil doesn't cost much. You go to Jimbo's and you get, I want organic peppermint oil, not flavored gunk, just real peppermint oil. It's all at $10, or real one. On your tongue is great for digestion. Also, if you've eaten coffee or whatever. And then for me, I always put a drop of mint here in the back of my neck, and all of a sudden you're bright and brilliant going into a meeting. So it's great for brain. You want to be real careful with peppermint oil because you don't want to get it in your eye. So I train people, pinky, peppermint oil, go like this, and then don't do that finger in your eye.
On your temples.
For me, I find temples, under my nose, so I'm breathing it, on the tongue and the back of the neck. And just try it and see if you don't feel
I've
more.
had brain fog for like my whole life. So like,
Definitely one thing to. And catch me later. I have a supplement that I can gift to you that will rock your world. So I can get that to you. But the peppermint oil is wonderful, and I carry it with me all the time. So the only thing is, don't, whichever finger. So be careful you don't put it in your eye. It will help. It will really help. I have some. When we're done, I'll give you some pepper. So you try it. Just see if you dig it.
Brain fog is so common. I feel like we all deal with it to some extent, and that's like
Yeah.
something simple you can carry with you. That's pretty
Yeah,
nice.
simple, cheap. Usually if I'm telling you, something to run to the health food store, it's not expensive. I do have a way that you can order supplements at a discount. I just pass on the discount. If you're already seeing Dr. Mike, you're on enough.
Yeah, I had brain fog.
Yeah.
Heavy duty brain fog.
Yeah.
And so I think with the chiropractic and the supplements.
Are you noticing a difference?
Oh yeah, night and day.
Yeah.
It's like I can see clearly now.
So
Yeah.
the peppermint oil, I'll give you some right when we're done. And then my sons have a company called Neurohacker, and Qualia Mind is amazing. And I have some that I will actually gift to you, so you can. It's my son's company, I got to get a perk from that. So. Okie doke.
is it like alpha brain almost? Kind of like, that alpha brain.
The way better,
Yeah.
way better. You will so like that. So I'm going to just see if there's anything that we didn't work on, a little bit of stress and trauma, and rectify that. Yeah, neurohacker.com. You can go on there and look up Qualia Mind, and all of their products have so many different ingredients, because the idea is it works the whole system. It's a systems approach, so it's not like Adderall that just makes sure, but then that depletes. Yeah, so the problem is it depletes acetylcholine and everything else. This builds up the system and also gives you focus, so it's really nice. And it tells you everything that's in there. And I can gift you one of those.
I think a lot of people just, they get diagnosed with like ADHD and ADD and stuff like that, when it's really just like they got brain fog problems and having problems focusing because their diet isn't correct.
So much of the time.
Yeah, big time.
So much.
So
Much of the time.
I believe that's the most overdiagnosed thing ever in the world. I seriously do.
Well, that was why my sons actually started Neurohacker. Was they told me that all the med students and law students and college students are on Adderall, and I was surprised that back in my day that wasn't. Well, I don't think we even had it. So I started asking all my friends' kids. I'm like, "Are you guys on Adderall?" They're all on Adderall for taking a test and like that. But it depletes your system. It's awful for you. So that's why he put together. It could be 50 different things in there, and it was for brain focus. It actually took off for athletes. There's a lot of students on it. But these athletes that knew they could do 29 of this, they measure themselves all the time, and then they took the Qualia Mind, and all of a sudden they could do
50, 60.
crazy stuff.
Does that mean it also helps boost your testosterone? Like if you're a man, like does it do something in your brain to help?
It gives you the focus and energy. We can also use, I am fine with hormone replacements. I think that bioidentical hormone replacements. So I'm open-minded to whatever works. I am plant knowledgeable and hormone knowledgeable, and it depends on the person. So yeah, we can we can definitely see what's underlying that issue for you, and then give you a few things. And then when you're feeling great, once you're feeling great, it's also easy to get rid of the one or two other things that might be stressing you. But let's get you feeling great first. So we're closing you out, but you'll see that it's up at 101. So
From
that
74 to 101.
so in the background, while I was showing those other programs, we were running this one, and this one's at 100. So just so you know, that's all been happening. All right, so we will close that baby out, and we will close the clasp. Okie doke. We will unhook you. How do you feel?
Great, great.
Okay, now look forward. I don't. You have to see the before and after. Every one of my clients just kind of glows afterwards. Do you see the energy? You see? Can you see how much brighter?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, people. There was one of the things I had in my big office years ago. It was a big mirror, and I'm like, take a look at you before, and then take a look at you after. We're literally sending electrons into the body, so we are actually feeding the electrical body besides, working on things. So you actually get regenerated.
So do I look brighter, husband?
Yeah, you do actually.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
It's an energetic thing, but the smile, the eyes, they're just brighter. Yeah. The science behind that is there's some electrons and things going on, but I love that you look brighter. All right, we will unhook you. Yay, all right.
Interesting. Very interesting. Very.
Good. Thank you, guys. Thank you for playing with me. I appreciate it.
Well, the thing is, the things that I'm working on came up here.
Yeah.
The digestion.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
stuff.
injury with the toe and sugar and all
yeah.
the things. So a lot of times we already know them, and but sometimes feathers for, who knew? But you hear a year later that, it rocked her world. So I've been doing this since 2005. And, okay, I gotta tell you one last thing before we go. So we had a screen about this big some years ago in Encinitas at a library. And I had just picked someone from the audience so I didn't know them, who wants to be my guinea pig sitting up here. And I always say, you don't have to comment. If you can, it's way more fun for the audience, but you don't have to. So one of the first things, I show the body viewer where you're interacting and you saw, so what comes up? On a huge screen in front of a lot of people was a male organ going round and round. And I jumped on it right away. I'm like, honey, you don't have to answer why that came up. It will go on. He goes, no, I want to. That's fast. I'm like, well, heck yeah, okay, go for it. He had just had a vasectomy 2 days ago. So his mind, body, and everything was wanting to heal. So I went right to wound healing. But it was so cool because it was one of those, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be one for the books, right? And then he said what it was, and we were all sitting there going, wow. So I have some good stories.
It was interesting, the synthetic.
Yes,
That
yes.
was interesting.
So yeah, Randy, pay attention to that too and see. It came up a few times, so there's something.
When I first heard it was synthetic, I was wondering if it was because of her, medication.
That's a possible, because allopathy came up. So drugs is possible. That's where, when we don't know for sure, we'll look further. It could be an environmental thing, but it could be allopathy was one of the big stresses. So you're on Dr. Mike's stuff, but you're also on medications
Yes.
still. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, and don't get off of you slowly. We work on that.
I know. So this is my card.
Okay, so
what do I do?
okay, so are you right or left?
Right?
Okay, I need a right thumb. It's your conscious and subconscious mind going, okay, that's mine. You're like accepting the frequencies. And now we will turn it around. Can you see this white here? You're going to sign your name, and then that'd be your card. You have any questions? Yeah.
Are you able to detect food allergies?
Yeah, what It will come up with stressors around food. And like I said, what we get, it's very similar to a lie detector. I'll get something that's a stress on the system. Sometimes it's really obvious, you know, you shouldn't be having that. But most of the time I'll have to ask, do we need more or less of this? And sometimes we can just find something that mitigates it. Sometimes it's, would you be willing to not have this? And then we have a whole vitamin panel. And you want methylated Bs, you know, Amy, a lot of this crowd already knows that. But like one of the first things when I have someone come in is, you know, they'll show me their one-a-days. And so cyanocobalamin, C-Y-A-N, it's the one thing if you want to learn, cyanocobalamin. You can't digest it. You know, 1 out of 100 people can. It's cheap and it's yucky. And so for everyone else, it stresses you out. So you don't want that. So go home and look at your vitamins. Look at B12. If it's cyanocobalamin, we're going to get something better. It needs to be methylcobalamin, hydroxycobalamin. When you go on Neurohacker and see what's in Qualia Mind, it will explain all of why it has the #1 top ingredients like that. So yeah, so we can look at you know, the fatty acids, the vitamins, the food. A lot of times you already know what's going on, but we can help to see that. And sometimes we can just add in, you know, if you used a food enzyme, you could handle this, or you know. So we try to make it as easy as possible. But yeah, we can see the stress around food.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to sleep very long in years. What does that come down to usually?
Perfect question, right? What does that come down to? So when we do a session on you, which we will be doing soon, right? Why is that? You know, are you too stressed? Do you not have enough nutrients? Is there something in the environment? We need to find out, because yeah, that's the thing. Exactly. Could be a bunch of different things. So we can send frequencies, and that will help balance part of it. And then it's most likely, would you be willing to not do this? Is your room dark? You know, there's some, you know, get the EMFs out of there. There needs to be no Wi-Fi. Is the room dark? Do you stop eating 3 hours before you go to bed? Okay, so you know a bunch of them. So, you know, when it's somebody who already knows a bunch of stuff like you guys, that's where it can be really helpful, because I'm not going over the basics, you know. Are you taking methylcobalamin? Yeah.
I fall asleep so easy.
But then you wake up. So pay attention, write down for me when you wake up. So in Chinese medicine, there's different times. You're aware of that, right? So certain people, they wake up at 2, but other ones wake up at 5. So that can tell us something depending on when you wake up, if you can't fall back asleep, which organ. Also with Chinese and Ayurveda, there's different seasons. So do you have, ready to fall asleep now?
Really?
It's at the wrong
It's about
times,
the
right?
right
Yes.
time for you to start.
Yeah, so don't do caffeine too late, you know. But people like you that have people with MS, people with mold, with Lyme, I can be so helpful, because if we can just pinpoint 1 or 2 things that you didn't know about, that could make the difference. So do your best to write down anything you can think of that you are taking, or what times you get up, and we'll address that for you.
I had that problem too,
Yeah,
insomnia and
yeah. Yeah, it can be you're missing a
Could be
nutrient,
anything,
we need to
yes.
add something in, take
Yes.
something out,
yes.
straighten something out, but we can fix that for you.
Thank you so much.
You got a question?
I do.
Yeah.
Might benefit everyone.
Okay.
So I guess, do the scans show, I guess, when you have too much of something versus not enough, like the imbalances? Plus, does it kind of show where you might have more like inflammation in your body than others? I'm assuming that's part of the whole.
Exactly. Yeah, inflammation underlies most disease. And we just showed a few screens, and I was mainly going for ones that had pretty pictures you could see instead of looking at 11,000 items. But one of the things we want to do is look at inflammation and why does your body, because what's going to inflame you or you might be different. right? So we're going to look at how do we balance inflammation for you and trauma for, so that's why it's very specific. I'm careful with my words. It's not like, gee, everybody needs to have this. Well, everybody needs water. There are a few things we all need to breathe. But, you know, after the few basics, it's really N equals 1, which you'll find when you go on Neurohacker. N equals 1 is I'm the experiment. So I'm going to add in one thing and take one thing out. And you don't do too much because otherwise you don't know what worked. So, and you have to write in a journal so you know. So Aura Ring, I don't know if any of you noticed my, my Aura Ring. It's, this tracks sleep. We'll talk, Aura Ring. It tracks your sleep. It tracks heart rate variability. So you can see how you're doing. And sometimes if you ate the wrong food, you know, wow, my Aura Ring told me last night was yucky. Well, what did I do? Or it was great. What did I do? So it helps give you feedback. It's about $300, but you know, then it tells you every night what's going on. I have a $50 off coupon. I don't make any money, but I have a coupon if you want. So tracking, these are great, but also taking notes. Taking notes.
It's not a cookie cutter.
You got the question back there?
It's not a question, it's a comment
Comments are good.
on the iPhones and all the
Yeah,
technology that's supposed to track our sleep, and yet we're inviting EMS.
Yeah.
yeah. That's always a payoff. You know, you don't want EMFs around you all the time. So we take the phones out of the room. And to me, one of the things I looked at, this had the least amount. I mean, trackers are great and iPhones are great. Some older people told me that they like the iPhone version because if you fall down, you get the, you know, I fell down, I can't get up, and you don't get that with this. But this has less EMFs, and I also kind of trust it more. But won't go into that.
I wonder if you can combat the EMFs, even though it's a smaller amount, that are coming from that with, like, I know we have things that we plug in our electrical outlets.
Yes.
And then we have like the copper thing that goes under the bed and
Yes.
things like that. So
Yeah. So I have all the toys. If it's out there, I've probably got one and playing with it. So, and the less expensive version is shungite. It used to be black topaz, and you can test it for yourself. You go to one of the stores. There's a great one in Vista, and black topaz or shungite. Just ask them for. I mean, it's $3 and $3, and see which one, or have one of each. So I have some shungite and some black topaz under my pillow every night. So it's $7 worth of stones, but they really protect humans. There's been lots of tests done. So yes, I'm wearing this, but I have my shungite. So yeah, you have to mitigate. Good question. Yeah. So for people that will be watching this, please go to www.cathybliss, CathyBliss.com. I have what biofeedback is. So I was a professional ice skater and dancer. I have TV and movie clips on there, which Dr. Lim loves that I'm a gold medalist ice skater and dancer. So you have to go and check out my Stars on Ice. And it explains the energy card and how to get a package, how to do sessions. And please phone me, email me, text me. I would love to work with you. Thank you guys all for coming. I love what I do, and I look forward to being of service.
Yes,
Alrighty.
awesome.
Kathy.
I love it.
Yay, we rock.